Definitely, this must be a massive one. But how will you describe it, the whole competition and also the success of team as such?
I think the competition was well organized. Fantastic fields to train on, quality pitches to play on, and the people were very welcoming. I mean, when we played at our stadium, we were in Rabat. We had a lot of fans, not even South Africans. Even yesterday, the same fans that followed us, they followed us from there to come and watch us, and I had some South African fans as well. But when I looked at the packed out stadium, it shows that Morocco has put a lot of investment in the women's football, and it wasn't by chance that they were in the final. But for me, it's the debutants that stood out, the teams that have come back after a long time that have stood out, because surely it shows that women's football on the continent is growing. We're just excited that we finally got that monkey off our back, getting the gold medal. And the players really wanted it badly. From the first game until the last game, the crowd was not going to deter them. They were adamant that they were not scared of the crowd. We had a similar situation in Equatorial Guinea in 2015 when we went to qualify for Olympics. When we came out, it was a sea of red. And Jermaine scored the winner that day to take us to the Olympics, so they were ready for every eventuality.
Yeah, the journey started for you in 2016. How would you describe the journey, and how much of support do you think you get from the FA to be patient for you to be with this team for 6 years before winning?
Look, I was first an interim coach for about a year and a half, and then in 2018, the beginning of 2018, I became the head coach. I renewed my contract in 2020, and because I felt I had not finished the job, I felt I had still something to offer, especially when we went to the World Cup and we played Spain and had a magnificent 45 minutes, but I don't think the world saw the best of Panama, so I felt that we had unfinished business. It's important, not just to give females an opportunity. Our U17 team is coached by former captain Simpiwe Guzu. Our U20 is coached by a former player, Jabulile Baloyi. So it's not our FA decided then that they were going to have females, and my CEO is my point of call. You can call him for anything. You can see the president is very visible here as well. So it's not just the appointment, but it's the support as well. It's the support from our technical director, acting technical director, it's the support of other coaches. That was there. I think I could regularly chat to Coach Mulifi when he was the coach of Bafana as well. So it's a support all round, and I think that is really important, because you put someone in there but you don't give it the support, then it won't work. So for that, I'm very grateful. And then, what can I say about our sponsor? 2 back-to-back Olympics, 2 back-to-back World Cups, 2 back-to-back finals of WAFCON, and a couple of COSAFA Cups. I think they must be extremely happy.
Coach, I'm sorry. Were you under any pressure, to win this particular tournament, coming for this WAFCON?
You're under pressure every time you step onto the field. The pressure is so much. When players come into the national team, they're already under pressure. But before we even started training, I called in the senior players and I asked them, what are your objectives? Jermaine was adamant, we want to win AFCON. I said, there's a small matter before that, qualifying for the World Cup. She says, no. When we win AFCON, we have already qualified for the World Cup. I said, okay, we have the same ambition. Let's stick together, let's become one. Let's pull each other in, let's hold each other accountable, set the team culture, bring the new ones in, bring the young ones in, grab them, and let's do it together. And from the word go, we were united. But I think what helped us a lot, we had a mental coach. I'm not a mental coach, I try to do that, but that was on the side where she took us as a whole group, but also just the players and also individual, smaller little groups. And I think that helped a lot, just to take the mind off the outside distractions. That helped a lot, and the ambition was obviously to go one better. And you cannot win the final if you're not in the final. So it started with the first game. We knew the start of the tournament was going to be key. It became bigger because we were playing Nigeria, and I thought we started really well. And I think that set the tone for us. We hadn't had any friendlies, so we needed to manage the players throughout the tournament, where we rotated the players. We also had Timmy getting injured. And I think it put a little bit of a somber mood, but she was so professional and said, look, I'm injured, it happens to the best of us. We still have an objective. And When I saw the videos last night of Timmy down dancing on one foot, you can see the unitedness of the team, and I think that's what carried us through. So being under pressure to win every game, it's always there. Being under pressure when you come into the national team, it's always there. So the pressure doesn't change.
Coach, as a female coach, what would you say was the most challenging moment, looking at the fact that you are a female coach?
What was the most challenging moment? I wasn't the head coach yet. We had gone to Kosafa, and it was the first tournament that we, besides doing the WAFCON or AFCON in 2016, we were 3-0 down to Zambia on the 75th minute, and by 9 minutes later it was 3-0. And I think that was the turnaround for us. That for me was very challenging. I think during the COVID time, not even on the football field, I think that was rather challenging because we couldn't tell players when we were going to go back to the field. We sent out training programs just to keep them active, and the questions was asked, when are we going to play? Why am I doing this? And I said, we've got to be ready, we've got to stay ready. And we tried to divide the group into 3 because we had over 40 odd core players. I took a group, assistant coach, Tina took a group, and at the time Shalim Boyce, who's now the head coach of South Sudan, took a group of players just to give that, that personal interaction. We used to have like a Zoom once or twice a week when people's hairstyles changed, and it was really welcoming, and I think that brought us closer together, and I think that was very challenging because people lost jobs, people lost family members, and that was really key. We lost our kit manager, who's been with us for 11 years. So we have a personal story to tell, and I'm sure she's smiling from above and dancing from above, and I'm sure the heavens are telling her to keep quiet because she was that type of person. But I think outside of football was the most challenging was during COVID.
What is the word you would say to the women out there that wants to become a coach for a national team? You are 3 times coach of the year for the AFCON. What would you say your advice would be to them?
Look, know your worth, know your value, work on your craft because you're working with players that understand the game. Make sure that you educate yourself more and make sure that you're ready when that opportunity comes because you're in a male-dominated environment and people will always look at you to do the extraordinary instead of just doing the job. But I'm grateful that my peers back home don't look at me like that. I'm grateful that the coaches back home give us a lot of support. I don't know if you've seen the tweets of Coach Pizzo, Kevin Hunt, Roger Dessau, were all tweeting us, were all sending us messages, of good luck and best wishes. And in the group, I'm with a lot of coaches of the PSL, so we get that support from them. So I think that is really important. Surround yourself with experts, I'm not a fitness trainer. I know a little bit about football conditioning. I'm not a goalkeeper coach. I know a little bit about that. I'm not a performance analyst. I know a little bit about that. So surround yourself with those experts and let them do their job. And I don't micromanage. I leave the experts to do their job, and it's worked very well for us.
Alright, Coach, how are you able to manage your senior players, especially your captain? She didn't feature in this tournament at all. How are you able to manage that?
Look, like I said, we had a meeting, and we said even to them, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 might not make a final squad, and that's the reality, because there are some very good youngsters coming through. There's still a few that we've left at home, 18, 19-year-olds, some right in the trick, so we couldn't bring them with. Gabriela Salgado didn't come either, so we still have some good youngsters, and and one of the players actually mentioned, if you get 5 minutes, let it be your best 5 minutes. If you get 1 minute, let it be your best 1 minute. If you don't get, let yourself be the best cheerleader on the bench. And that's what Timby was saying while she was away. I'm still your biggest cheerleader, even though I'm not there. So we try to do it that way. And it's not a team about where you have the most caps or where you've played so long in the team. It's all about the team first. And everything else will follow. And I think we've made that clear from the word go. We've also changed in not having one captain. We've got a group of captains. This time we've had 3. Sibulele as captain, Timbi as captain, Mamelo as captain. This time around, Andile as captain as well, along with Janine and Lefere Jane, because we want to build more leaders as well. it's important that we have a group of leaders so everyone steps out, especially the players that play abroad. If you don't have a captain already ready, then you've got to not create, but put someone in that position so they already have the experience of that. So we've worked on that, and I always say, the best person will play, or the best person that we think will play, because it's about the team first.
All right, for you, I know definitely coming to this competition, you definitely will be under pressure. But at the same time, what was it like you taking those hard decisions, dropping some of your top players, top stars in the team, and ensuring that yes, because you want to win this?
Look, like I said, the players all said they want to come here and win it. They were not worried about qualifying for the World Cup, because they said when we win it, we qualify for the World Cup. And like I said, we had a meeting with the senior players, and we said to them, one or two or three of you might not make it. And that's the reality. And nobody questioned us. We said we have to be united, we have to be together, and we have to make sure that it's one goal. Not different goals. And players stood up and said we have a lot of experience here mixed with the youngsters. Players stood up and said if you get 1 minute, let it be your best 1 minute. If you get 5, if you don't play and you're on the bench, become the biggest cheerleader. And that was from the word go. I had a meeting with some senior players on their own and said, look, it's about the team first and about the individual second. Because we're here for a common goal and a common purpose. And we might not get game time, and that's reality.
Yeah, you joined the Legends group now, becoming the third women's coach who were also a former footballer to win this trophy after Ichiro Keria and also Florence Omagwem. These are also your friends.
I actually got a message from Florence last night.
What was the feeling like? What was the feeling achieving this feat, becoming the third women's coach as a former footballer, winning as a former footballer and also as a
I think being given the opportunity and grabbing it with both hands, surrounding yourself with experts and making sure, that you really work hard, that you really work behind the scenes, because it's not just about stepping on the field, it's a lot of things. When the players are resting, we are busy working. We have to make sure that we're on top of our game. We have to make sure that we get the tactics right. We have to make sure that we get the plan right. We have to make sure that when we make those changes, that they will affect the game, like I did in the semi-final and so forth. When we make those changes, and when we change the squad, why we change the squad, and I think that is important. And I think when I look back, Florence, very good friend of mine, we in contact quite often. As I said, she sent me a message last night. They set the trend, winning it as a player and as a coach, and I was gobsmacked when she didn't continue. Really sad and disappointed, because I thought having the team such a short time, she did really well with the team. But neither here nor there, if we get given the opportunity, if we get the support as former players, and if we get given the time, then I think we can do well. And they've shown it. Florence, Uche has shown it as well. They've shown it. And I think FAs need to be more open-minded, because there are a lot of female coaches out there. I'm not saying the male coaches are not good enough, but there are a lot of female coaches out there. They can also do the job. Just to be given an opportunity and then to support them.
Yeah, that's the question for me, please. I want you to describe your night. How was the night as champions?
After we came to.
Me, I got back first at about 20 to 2, because there was so much happening in the, what they call it, the mix zone. So much happening there, and eventually I had to wait with the 2 players that had been called out for doping, so that's why I got back so late. And then when I got here, we were just sitting here, and I said, aren't you going to sleep? And they said no, and I sat with them, and we just sat there. Sat there with my medal on my chest like this, and at 6 o'clock I went to my room and I was lying on my bed, didn't get changed, with my medal on my chest, and trying to answer all my WhatsApps, and I still haven't. I have 2 telephones, so trying to answer all the WhatsApps and people calling, etc. So it's been a hectic night, but it's been all worthwhile.
Lastly, coach, are you saying South Africa are going for the World Cup?
Look, we'd like to get out of the group stages first. I think, having gone there, having seen what it's about, you want to go back and do better. And that is what it was so important for us to go back to the World Cup. The planning now goes ahead. We have a year instead of 6 months like happened the last time. We have a couple of players coming back from injury as well. So it's really going to be tough already to select the squad. But
You know, we want to make sure that we go back and do better than what we did the last time.
Thank you very much.